look, I get it. The fear of rejection from your twin flame can feel absolutely crushing. It's not like regular relationship anxiety where you worry someone might not text you back or things might not work out. This hits different because somewhere deep inside, you feel like this person is literally part of your soul. So when they pull away, ghost you, or straight up reject you, it feels like you're being rejected by yourself. Like the universe is saying you're not worthy of the deepest love possible. But here's what I need you to understand right from the start. That fear you're carrying around, it's actually showing you exactly where you need to grow. And I'm going to walk you through a completely different way to look at this whole thing. Before we dive in, let me make something crystal clear about what's really happening in your twin flame dynamic. This connection isn't designed to give you the white picket fence fantasy you might have dreamed about. It's designed to crack you wide open and show you every single wound, insecurity, and limiting belief you've been carrying around since childhood. Your twin flame is basically a spiritual mirror, reflecting back all the stuff you haven't dealt with yet. So when they reject you or run away, they're not actually rejecting you as a person. They're responding to the energy you're putting out, which is usually rooted in some deep fear or unworthiness you haven't healed yet. And guess what? They're dealing with their own version of the same stuff. This journey isn't about getting them to love you or choose you. It's about you becoming so whole and complete within yourself that their acceptance or rejection doesn't determine your worth. That's the real work here. When your twin flame rejects you or runs away, your first instinct is probably to chase them, convince them, or somehow prove that you're worth loving. But I want you to flip this entire situation on its head for a minute. What if their rejection is actually the universe's way of protecting you from moving forward before you're ready? Think about it. If you and your twin flame came together right now, in this moment, with all your unhealed trauma and wounds still running the show, what do you think would happen? It would be a disaster. You'd trigger each other constantly. Every insecurity would get magnified. Every abandonment wound would get poked. It wouldn't be this beautiful, harmonious union. It would be chaos. Their rejection is creating space. Space for you to grow, heal, and become the version of yourself that can actually handle this connection. Because here's the thing, nobody tells you about twin flames. This connection is intense. It will bring up every single thing you've ever buried or avoided. If you're not ready for that level of intensity, if you haven't done the inner work, coming together will just create more pain for both of you. So instead of seeing their rejection as a door slamming in your face, see it as a pause button. The universe is giving you time to get your house in order, time to heal your wounds, time to build your self-worth from the inside out, time to become magnetic, not from a place of neediness, but from a place of wholeness. When you really sit with this perspective, the rejection starts to feel less like punishment and more like protection. It's like when you're trying to force open a door that's locked, and you keep pulling and pulling, hurting your hands in the process. But the door is locked for a reason. There's work that needs to happen on the other side before it can open. Their rejection isn't personal. It's not about you not being enough. It's about timing, readiness, and the soul work that still needs to happen. Once you accept this, you can stop fighting against the rejection and start working with it. This is probably going to sting a bit, but you need to hear it. One of the biggest reasons you're so terrified of their rejection is because you've put your twin flame on a pedestal. You've made them into this perfect, godlike figure whose approval determines your worth. You've convinced yourself that they're better than you, more evolved than you, or somehow more special than you. And at the same time, you've probably put yourself on a pedestal too, believing you're this long-suffering saint who loves so purely and deeply, while they're the runner who can't see what's right in front of them. Both of these pedestals need to come down. Your twin flame is a human being. They've got issues, trauma, fears, and insecurities just like you do. They're not some perfect spiritual being who has it all figured out. They're messy. They make mistakes. They're probably terrified of this connection too, which is exactly why they're running. When you see them as this perfect person whose rejection means something catastrophic about your worth, You give away all your power. You make them responsible for your happiness, your healing, and your spiritual growth. But that's not their job. That's your job. And when you put yourself on a pedestal as the more awakened one, the one who sees the connection clearly while they're blind to it, you're creating separation. You're making yourself superior, which is just another form of ego. The truth is, you're both equally broken and equally divine. You're both running from something, even if your running looks like chasing. You're both terrified of the intimacy this connection demands. Neither of you is better or worse. You're equals having a shared experience of growth. When you take both pedestals down, something amazing happens. The fear of rejection loses its power. Because you're no longer looking to them to validate your worth or save you from your loneliness. You're no longer seeing their love as the prize you need to win to prove you're enough. You start seeing this connection for what it really is: two souls helping each other grow through mirror work. Their rejection doesn't mean you're unworthy. It just means they're not ready, you're not ready, or both of you aren't ready. And that's okay. You can hold space for that truth without making it mean something devastating about who you are. Here's where most people get it twisted. They think the goal is to become whole so that their twin flame will finally come back and choose them. But that's still making your healing about them. That's still giving your power away. The real shift happens when you focus on becoming whole for you, not to attract them back, not to prove anything, but because you deserve to live a full, joyful, abundant life whether they're in it or not. What does becoming whole actually look like? It means looking at all the places where you feel broken, incomplete, or not enough, and doing the work to heal those wounds. It means addressing your abandonment issues, your people-pleasing tendencies, your need for external validation. It means building a relationship with yourself that's so solid and loving that another person's presence or absence doesn't shake your foundation. It means pursuing your passions, building your life, creating joy and meaning in your everyday experience without waiting for someone else to come along and complete you. This is where the real transformation happens. When you shift your focus from them to you, everything changes. You stop obsessively checking their social media. You stop analyzing every little interaction for signs they still care. You stop putting your life on hold, waiting for them to be ready. You start living. You start creating. You start building a life that feels good to you. Not because it might impress them or bring them back, but because you genuinely want to experience joy and fulfillment in your time here on Earth. And here's the beautiful paradox. When you genuinely stop doing your healing work to get them back, when you're truly focused on yourself and your own growth, you become magnetic. Not in a manipulative way, but in an authentic way. You start radiating a different energy, an energy of wholeness, confidence, and self-love. And that energy is attractive not just to your twin flame, but to life itself. Opportunities show up, synchronicities increase. You start feeling more aligned and peaceful. Whether your twin flame comes back or not becomes less important because you're already experiencing the love and fulfillment you were looking for from them within yourself. One of the hardest parts of the twin flame journey is the uncertainty. You don't know if they'll come back. You don't know when union might happen. You don't know if you're wasting your time holding space for this connection. The not knowing can drive you absolutely crazy. And the fear of rejection feeds off this uncertainty like fuel on a fire. Your mind creates worst-case scenarios. You convince yourself they'll never come back, they're with someone else, they've forgotten about you, or they never felt what you felt. But here's what you need to learn. Sitting with uncertainty is a spiritual practice. It's where growth happens. When you can be okay not knowing, when you can hold space for multiple possibilities without needing to control the outcome, you develop a kind of inner strength that changes everything. Most people can't handle uncertainty. They need answers, closure, guarantees. They need to know exactly how things will unfold. But life doesn't work that way, especially not the twin flame journey. Start practicing being comfortable with not knowing. When your mind spirals into fear about them rejecting you permanently, notice it. Don't try to fix it or figure it out. Just sit with the discomfort. Feel it in your body. Breathe through it. Remind yourself that this moment right now you're okay. You don't need to know what happens tomorrow or next year or in 10 years. You just need to be present with what is. This practice of sitting with uncertainty trains your nervous system to handle the intensity of this connection without going into panic mode every time there's a separation or silence. The more you practice this, the less power the fear of rejection has over you, because you realize that even in the worst case scenario where they never come back, you'll be okay. You'll survive. You'll grow. You'll find love and joy and meaning in your life. The uncertainty stops being this terrifying thing and starts being something you can hold lightly. You develop trust in yourself and in the universe that whatever happens is exactly what needs to happen for your highest growth. This is going to sound backwards, but the periods of rejection and separation are actually doing more for your connection than the periods of harmony. When things are good between you and your twin flame, when you're talking and connecting and everything feels magical, you're usually not doing much growing. You're just enjoying the high of the connection. But when they reject you, when they run, when there's distance and silence, that's when the real work happens. Separation forces you to go inward. It forces you to deal with your neediness, your codependency, your fear of abandonment. It forces you to build a life that doesn't revolve around them. It forces you to find your own sense of purpose and meaning. And all of this is necessary for union. You can't have a healthy twin flame union if both people are needy, unhealed, and looking to the other person to complete them. You just create a toxic, codependent mess. So their rejection, as painful as it is serving the connection. It's creating the space and pressure needed for both of you to transform. Think of it like a caterpillar in a cocoon. The caterpillar doesn't become a butterfly by staying comfortable. It has to dissolve completely in the darkness of the cocoon before it can emerge transformed. Your periods of separation are like that cocoon. They're dark and uncomfortable and feel like everything is falling apart. But something beautiful is forming in that darkness. You're becoming someone new, someone stronger, someone more whole. When you understand this, you stop resisting the rejection. You stop seeing it as the enemy. You start seeing it as part of the process. You start trusting that even when they're gone, even when they've rejected you, the connection is still working its magic on both of you. You're both being transformed in the separation. And when the time is right, when both of you have done enough of the work, the connection will bring you back together. But it has to be the right time. Forced timing just creates more pain and more separation. At the core of your fear of rejection is a lack of trust. You don't trust that things will work out. You don't trust that you're worthy of love. You don't trust that the universe has your back. You're operating from fear, which means you're constantly trying to control outcomes, manipulate situations, and force things to happen according to your timeline. But fear-based living will keep you stuck in cycles of pain and separation. The shift you need to make is from fear to trust. Trust that if this connection is meant to be, nothing can stop it. Trust that the universe is orchestrating things behind the scenes in ways you can't see. Trust that every rejection, every separation, every painful moment is leading you exactly where you need to go. This doesn't mean being passive or giving up. It means taking aligned action from a place of trust rather than desperate action from a place of fear. What does trust-based living look like practically? It means you stop chasing, you stop trying to convince them or prove your worth, you stop obsessing over signs and synchronicities, looking for proof they'll come back. Instead, you focus on your life. You do things that bring you joy. You work on your healing. You trust that if you're meant to be with this person, the path will open up naturally. You don't have to force it. You don't have to control it. You just have to trust it. Building this trust is a daily practice. Every time fear comes up, you acknowledge it and then consciously choose trust instead. You remind yourself that you're being guided, that everything is happening for your highest good. That rejection isn't the end of the story. It's just a chapter. The more you practice choosing trust over fear, the more peaceful you become. And from that place of peace and trust, you make better decisions. You show up differently. You stop pushing people away with desperate energy and start attracting them with grounded, confident energy. Here's the final piece that ties everything together. You need to reclaim your power and stop letting the twin flame narrative control your life. Yes, this is a significant spiritual connection. Yes, it's intense and transformative. But you are not a victim of this connection. You're not powerless. You're not sitting around waiting for your twin flame to decide your fate. You have complete power over your own life, your own happiness, and your own journey. Stop waiting for them to choose you. Choose yourself. Stop waiting for union to start living. Start living now. Stop making your twin flame the main character in your story. You're the main character. They're a supporting character who shows up to help you grow. But this is your story. You get to decide how it goes. You get to decide whether you're going to spend years pining for someone who's not available, or whether you're going to build an amazing life that feels good with or without them. This doesn't mean giving up on the connection. It means releasing your attachment to a specific outcome. It means being open to whatever unfolds while taking responsibility for your own joy and fulfillment. Maybe you and your twin flame will come into union. Maybe you won't. Maybe the purpose of this connection is just to catalyze your growth and awaken you to your true self. Maybe there's someone else out there who's better suited for you. You don't know, and that's okay. What you do know is that you have today. You have right now, and you can choose to make the most of it. When you reclaim your power like this, the fear of rejection dissolves, because their rejection doesn't have the power to derail your life anymore. You're not waiting for their approval to feel worthy. You're not waiting for their love to feel complete. You're already whole. You're already worthy. You're already living a full, meaningful life. And if they show up ready to be part of that, great. If they don't, you're still okay. You're still thriving. You're still growing and evolving and experiencing all the beauty life has to offer. That's what it means to truly release the fear of rejection, knowing that you're good either way.